Next question from Steve Botari.
In the wake of recent rulings, Americans' trust in the U.S. Supreme Court has now reached historic lows. A majority of Americans now say they disapprove of the job the Supreme Court is currently doing. General Bolduc, if elected, you would have the advise and consent role in the Senate. So are there specific qualities you would require to confirm a nominee?
Sure. Character and integrity is one. Understanding that we live in a constitutional republic and adhering to constitutional law, because I want our Supreme Court justices to make decisions based on interpretation of the Constitution and not legislation. I don't want them legislating from the bench. I want them to be judges that have a good history of being fair and honest and adjudicating properly. And I will interview every single one of them personally, and I will vote accordingly. That is what I think is most important characters and values that we should insist our Supreme Court justices have. It's become too politicized. Republican, Democrat. That's the problem down there. Political parties, they're ruining America. Political leadership that tells Senator Hassan who to vote for, what to vote for, when to vote for it. That's not going to be me.
Senator Hassan, you came out against the Judiciary Act of 2021. It would have added 4 seats to the court. Some in your party have said expanding the court would make it more representative of the country's views, perhaps. Why not consider that avenue to try to bring more confidence back to the court?
Well, I am very concerned about the politicization of the court, and I think adding justices will just add to that perception and that reality that every time a different political party becomes the majority, that there will be a change in the composition of the court. And I think that undermines the court. I will always look for high qualification and integrity, and also a respect for all Americans' constitutional and civil rights. And this is a major area of disagreement between Don Bolduc and me. I am very concerned that a number of the current Supreme Court justices came to the United States Senate and told us that they would observe precedent when it came to Roe v. Wade, and then didn't. And this is part of a pattern that you're seeing from Don Bolduc, too. People who support a national abortion ban, as Don Bolduc does, who are trying to mislead Granite Staters, as some of these Supreme Court justices did, about their intentions to take away a woman's most fundamental right.
General, 30 seconds to respond.
Wow, I'm not sure how we got there, but here she goes again, right? Talking like a career politician. She didn't even answer your question. I didn't see one quality there in a justice that she would evaluate. Not one. Because she doesn't have any. Because she involves herself in the politicization. She's done it for 6 years. That's all she does. 100% with Biden, 96% with Schumer and Democrats. She's not bipartisan. She is not. She touts her award. I don't know how she even got that award, because the statistics don't even merit it. So she just gave you a typical political answer.
Senator, 15 seconds, then we're moving on.
Well, I'm proud of being named the most bipartisan senator in the country by the Independent Lugar Center. And I'm proud of my record of delivering bipartisan results, including banning surprise medical bills, which is helping lower people's costs right now, along with some of the other bipartisan things we've talked about today.